Ever felt your salmon game was weak and needed a little bit of a shakeup? Most people never think about pairing salmon with a crispy crust, but today I'm going to show you this underrated gem, crispy garlic Parmesan baked salmon. Stick around for a seafood recipe that's about to become your new favorite. For the full ingredient list, check the description box below, but enough talking, let's get cooking. So we're going to start off with some panko breadcrumbs, and these are the seasoned panko breadcrumbs. And now we're gonna shred in some Parmigiano Reggiano. And I'm gonna put a lot in there. For all of you that say that seafood and cheese don't go together, this is the recipe that's gonna break you from that one. Usually I like to do it until I cover all the breadcrumbs. This is a really precise way to make sure that you're getting the right breadcrumb to cheese ratio. But the cheese is what's gonna get a really nice browning. And I'm choosing to shred it myself so that a lot of the oils from the cheese are gonna help get a nice crispy brown crust. The pre-shredded stuff sometimes already has a little drier and it's not gonna get as crispy. Now we're gonna season that with some of my base seasoning. This is a blend of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. Put in a couple pinches of some fresh chopped parsley. And we love our garlic around here, so we're gonna take some fresh garlic and also use that same shredder so we don't have to dirty something else. We're gonna shred this right into the mixture. I got about 6 giant cloves here, but you use your best judgment in your garlic meter. I love the smell of garlic. I don't know how some people say it's gross. It smells so good. As soon as I start mixing around this much garlic, I know I'm onto something right. Something tasty's about to happen. Look at all this garlicky goodness. And now for our triple bonus, we're gonna use the same microplane. Well, this isn't really a microplane, it's just a really fine shredder. You could use a microplane if you have one, to zest this lemon inside there for a nice lemon flavor. Lemon and salmon, they're cousins, they go together every time. And just like the garlic, we'll get all the lemon zest that's left on the bottom of the grater. Make sure that gets in there. And now we'll take a fork to break up all the clumps of garlic and the lemon zest, and we'll use that to mix this breadcrumb, cheese, and mixture all together. And if I see any like lumps of the garlic and stuff, I can just go in there with my hands and just break that up. So now let's make an egg wash with just beating a couple eggs with some salt. If any eggs get caught up in there, always use the shell to get them off. And we're also going to dredge this with a little flour, so I'll just put just enough in here. And we're also gonna season that flour. So first we're gonna put in a little of my base seasoning. Surprise, surprise, base seasoning again. Seasoned flour always works a little bit better than just regular flour in these scenarios. And we're also gonna put in a little Cajun seasoning. This is gonna add a nice red color, a little bit of heat to this flour. And it's just a really nice touch to add another layer of flavor to this amazing crispy salmon dish. Now let's give this flour a mix. So right before we start cooking, let's take a look at the salmon that we're gonna use today. So we got this beautiful piece of Atlantic salmon. I prefer to cut my pieces myself, but this is something you can have somebody at your fish counter do. So we're gonna take this salmon. I'm gonna slice the tail right off because we're not gonna be using this, but I wanna make sure that I give myself enough to eat, make another dinner on another night. And I prefer to keep the skin on, but you can take the skin off or you could ask the person at your fish counter to do that as well. So now let's cut off our pieces. So I'm gonna cut them about 2 inches wide. I don't know how many ounces that is, but you can see that's just a little bit thinner than my hand, maybe like 3 fingers worth. And if you need to line up your salmon to make sure your pieces are even, just take the piece that you cut previously, put it right in front of the other one, and you'll have pretty 2 identical pieces, and you can keep repeating that till we get them all cut.
So before we start prepping our salmon, let's get the oven preheated. I'm gonna put 425 with the convection setting on. This recipe is also air fryer friendly, but I might wanna go just a little bit lower, maybe 415 if you're using an air fryer, 425 with the convection on.
Setup is a key whenever you're dredging and breadcrumbing anything. So we're gonna work from our right to our left, going right on the baking tray, and this baking tray is going right in the oven. We only have to do one more thing. So I already have my baking sheet lined with parchment paper and aluminum foil. I'm just gonna put just a tiny little bit of oil on the bottom just so the bottom gets nice and crispy. So now we're gonna start dredging our salmon. So we're gonna go first flour, and then we're gonna shake off any excess flour. Then we're gonna go into our egg wash. And now we're gonna press nice and strongly into those breadcrumbs, making sure we're getting a nice coating that's not gonna come off. I like to take a little bit and press it on after. Flour, egg wash, breadcrumbs, press firmly right on the baking tray. And you can see I have a lot of extra breadcrumbs. I'd rather have extra than not that much. I feel like when you get to the end and you're running with all clumps, that the last pieces are never as good as the first one. Breadcrumbs are cheap, so this will definitely be as good as the other ones, or they're all the same. I think I could arrange these a little bit better. That's a little bit better. So right before this goes in the oven, just like I did on the bottom, I'm gonna give these a spray on the top, so just a little bit of oil. So these are gonna go in the oven for anywhere for about like 8 to 12 minutes, but as soon as they're nice and crispy on the outside, the salmon should be cooked on the inside. And before we touch these, we're gonna let them cool down for a little bit, just so that crust gets nice and crispy on the outside. So now I'm gonna be really careful and transfer these over to our serving platter. But if we take a look at this one, I mean, it's super nice and crispy. Check out that undercarriage, but look how amazing that looks. Super duper crispy. The skin is delicious, but covered in Parmesan garlic breadcrumbs. Oh my God, I can't wait to try this. This absolutely smells unbelievable, and like the texture on the top of these is unreal. Super crispy, just like any of my crispy chicken wing videos if you've seen any of those. Once again, before I eat this, I really want to show this is going to be the best salmon skin I'm ever going to eat all year round. Listen to the sound of how crispy this is. Is the top crispy like that too? Sure is. So if we cut into this piece of salmon, first bite, I'm gonna go for this end piece. I want to get some of that crispy skin in there. This is gonna be a beautifully crispy and delicious bite of salmon. Well, I've outdone myself with this one because it's gonna be hard to eat any other salmon other than this salmon. This is so good. It's so crispy. The garlic, the parm, the breadcrumbs, the salmon, and I'm a big skin lover. That was a delicious piece of salmon skin. I mean, what more could you ask for? Actually, I got one thing that is gonna be perfect for this. I would love to squeeze a little lemon on this. So even though I zested this lemon, let's cut off a little wedge and give this a little squeeze. I was excited for all those other bites before, but this one, now with the lemon, that is out of this world. I'm gonna eat the rest of this salmon. While I'm doing that, check out some of my other fish videos. So this is my simple salmon and my baked cod. I'll see you there. Thanks.